Hi everyone, welcome to the March 17th meeting of the LTS working group. As always, this is being recorded and we all need to abide by the code of conduct. Okay, now we're good.
Okay. So I haven't looked at is there any extra stuff on the agenda? As far as I know, we have, yeah?
Yeah, Tim had a question about thoughts about if we still want a session at the Virtual Contrib Summit.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because like we're going to be hitting a bunch of SIGs one at a time, but that doesn't mean we're necessarily going to catch everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
So having a session at the Virtual Contrib Summit, even if it's only 20 minutes,
yeah,
I think would make a difference in making sure that we didn't miss someone who feels really strongly about a course of action.
Yes, I agree. Tim raised the point that maybe it might be a bit of a different purpose than the in-person one would have been, which I think is probably the case. But equally, I think having a dedicated, this is the time to talk about this CAP, should hopefully, we just need to. I think I've missed a few meetings, so but I'm really glad to see y'all, going to see meetings and poking people. Obviously, it's not very easy for me to do that. Yeah, so I think having a single time where we can be like, hey, if you care about this thing, then now's the time.
Yeah. That would be good. So the other pending thing, and by the way, we're behind on visiting SIG meetings because everybody's been crazy with what's going on.
Yeah.
I know that it's really messed with my schedule. So but I'll hit SIG testing next week, who, in my opinion, are one of the most critical ones to talk to.
Yes, I agree.
Ben has had a number of objections with substance, but at the same time, he's really not paying attention to the draft cap. So we need to actually say, hey, we changed a bunch of stuff. Does this actually meet all of your issues? The other thing that's actually still missing from the cap, as far as I know, and I was going to look this morning, is supposedly Lubomir was going to actually write up the comparison between the two approaches. That is supporting one more release versus making the release cycle 4 months.
Okay.
That's something we've gotten a number of questions about, and I don't believe that he ever did that.
Okay.
So let me look at alternatives again, just to make sure that did not get added in.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about it, no.
Yeah.
And he hasn't contacted me to actually add it since I'm the gatekeeper for.
Yeah, and he hasn't been to a meeting in 3 weeks, so I think we need to assign that to somebody else.
Yeah, okay.
Since you can't, since you can't make most of the SIG meetings, do you think you could actually just fill that in?
Yeah, sure. Comparison between supporting an extra release and.
Yeah, and just like we were talking about doing. Maybe linking off to another document that just has a advantages, disadvantages comparison.
Yep.
Well, and why we came to the conclusion that we did, which is essentially that moving to 4 month releases doesn't solve most of the problems that this KEP creates, right? Because a lot of the problems like upstream libraries issues and those sorts of things don't change, right?
Yeah. Changing anything at all about the support has a whole lot of unknowns, right? Like it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't.
The main advantage to 4 months releases, and the reason why we might end up going there, is that it is less work for test infra.
Yeah.
And if they, it's entirely possible that test infra, if they ever had consensus on this, could decide that that's the way they want to go instead.
Yeah.
But it's a good reason for them to have that in front of them.
Yeah. I just made notes now.
Okay. yeah. I would actually say, over the record, one of the other things I would like to understand is what the big cloud hosts are doing. Because we don't have enough of, we only have a single data point, effectively.
Yeah.
But in that single data point, all three big cloud hosts, everybody who's got a 3 letters with a K in the middle, have waited until they're
on the last version that's about
default
to go
Kubernetes version. No, the last version that's already 3 months out of support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're now, only just keeping up. Yeah.
Right now, this cap would basically bring them back into support theoretically a year from now, but that kind of depends on why they have the behavior they do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because if the reason they have the behavior they do is they wait for something to go EOL, and only when the engineers start complaining about backpatching do they actually work on an upgrade plan, then obviously extending the support period is not going to do us any good. On the other hand, if it has to do with hey, they grab one version and it takes them X amount of months to plan for making the next version standard, then it would work out, and I just don't know.
Yeah.
So that would be something for us to bug people at Google. Actually, I know somebody I can bug at Azure. So put my name down attached to that.
Yep, sure.
For Azure, and then we need somebody at Amazon, and I don't know where any of the Amazon people are anymore.
No, I've spoken before a few times to Bob Wise, so I can probably hit him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I have not seen Bob around Slack for a couple of months.
Yeah, neither
so
have
I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, I'll just have to email him and hope for the best. Yeah.
So
I'll put you on, talk to Azure.
Yeah.
What email do you use for having things assigned to you in Google Docs?
Yeah.
What email do you use?
I get the messages. Oh, I use jburkus at redhat.com.
Yep.
Because the alternate Google accounts that I have, of which there are several, don't get notifications to me quite as promptly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to, because I'm actually a G Suite admin for 2 nonprofits.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which is not a fate I would wish on anyone, honestly.
Let's
just say that G Suite has me wishing for the old days of Microsoft Office 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. There hasn't been any action on the cap since you and Ben last talked 4 days ago.
No, yeah, I added in I rearranged stuff, honestly, because Ben was complaining about there not being a testing plan in them. Like, actually, the testing stuff is in there; it's just in the wrong sections.
Yes.
So, but I don't know from Ben whether or not that's satisfactory, because he hasn't looked at it. So that's why I need to go to SIG testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's everything I can think of. If you want some time back, then I'm probably happy to call it there. I'm going to go back to bed.
Okay. What time zone are you in anyway?
I'm in Sydney, ADST now. So AEDST for now. That's gonna finish in the next couple of months.
This is a terrible. Are you moving to somewhere?
No. So the daylight savings time will finish in a couple of weeks. So it's currently 3:15.
Yeah, but this is still going to be a horrible time slot for you.
Oh, it's always a horrible time slot for me.
Yeah, if this working group continues to exist, which I think it actually will, because we're going to have at least a year of implementation of the strategy, maybe we should discuss times, because
I mean,
we have several Europeans theoretically in the working group, They tend
Yeah.
not to show up to the meetings.
Yeah.
And those of us who do show up are mostly West Coasters. So it seems like at least we could have alternate meetings
Yeah.
at, 4 p.m. Pacific, which would be vastly better time for you.
Yes,
The,
it is. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Put that in the notes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then we'll have to discuss that next time.
Yeah.
The, I would like it if it was alternately 4 p.m. Pacific because I have 2 conflicts in this time slot.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So next, when daylight saving finishes for me, it's actually, this is the worst one. I think this is the worst time slot. This is when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. When it goes after daylight savings finishes for me, it goes back to 2 o'clock in the morning, which is much more in. I go to bed early, get up, do a meeting, go back to bed time. When it's summer my time, winter your time, it's 4 a.m. And so that's like I just get up, work until midday, and then go back to bed. Yeah. Yeah.
That's horrid.
Anyway.
I mean, I grouse enough, because my company is East Coast plus European.
Yeah.
I grouse enough about having to take meetings at 7 a.m. my time. And it's really annoying because even when I'm working with like our Chinese folks, I still don't get to have a meeting at what's a reasonable time for me because they've skewed their schedule so that they can talk to the folks on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway.
Time zones are hard, it turns out.
Oh, God.
No worries.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night. See you next time.